The double chunk chocolate cookie. No. No. What?
There is something vastly sickening and inauthentic about today's culture. How did I come to that conclusion? Just because Mufasa, a prequel to The Lion King, but specifically the live action one, that one released and it did better than Sonic 3 at the box office. We were so close to completely destroying Disney after Pixar had flop after flop after flop. You just dangle some member berries in front of the audience and then it's a-okay. People paid money to watch CGI lions for 2 hours. That may sound bad, but I paid $25 to watch CGI hedgehogs. There has been lots to think about in regards to pop culture recently, with the Super Bowl halftime show and the Grammys just happening. With both events going down, it reminded me why I'm a YouTuber that covers other YouTubers for the most part. Let's talk about former Disney child star and the musical sensation of 2024, Sabrina Carpenter. If you have no idea who she is, just think of her as this generation's Miley Cyrus. Despite her new album that released in 2024, Short and Sweet, being her 6th studio album, this was her breakout success, reaching #1 in just about every single country, but not Japan or Nigeria for that fact. They really don't like her in either of those countries. You may ask yourself, how did she just blow up on the scene? How did she go from a Disney child actress to being a huge pop sensation? It's because she opened up for Taylor Swift on the Eras tour. Once I figured that out when researching for this video, everything just fell into place. Here are just a few of her horniest lyrics in the album Short and Sweet. He pins you down on the carpet, makes paintings with his tongue. Break my heart and swear I'm moving on with your favorite athlete. This week you're holding space for her tongue in your mouth. Manifest that you're oversized. And I bet we'd both arrive at the same time. And I bet the thermostat's set at 6'9". My honeybee, come and get this pollen. This boy doesn't even know the difference between there, and they are. Yet he's naked in my room. What the fuck? Wanna try out my fuzzy pink handcuffs? Can't help myself, hormones are high. Hold me and explore me. I'm so fucking horny. This girl is a fucking freak. Why does it always have to be the Disney child stars? What did those Disney executives do? Is there a Disney equivalent of Dan Schneider? Obviously, this is not my type of music. This is not marketed towards me at all. In fact, I don't think any sort of music has ever been marketed to me at all. But when you are a former Disney child star and this music is being marketed to teenage girls for the most part, I think there's a bit of an issue. Sabrina Carpenter has quite the history of sexually suggestive lyrics during events that would otherwise be kid-friendly, not restricted to only adults. In February of 2024, Sabrina Carpenter, when she was opening up for Taylor Swift at a concert in Sydney, Australia, she improvised some lyrics. In front of a huge crowd of Taylor Swift's fans, she added the lyrics, "When you go down under, do you miss me? He's so big, I felt it in my kidney. Scream so loud, they heard it here in Sydney." When she was performing at BBC Radio 1's Big Weekend, she did a similar twist with the same song. Now, considering she's performing for the BBC, do you know what her lyrics are gonna be? Take a wild guess.
BBC said I should keep it PG. BBC, I wish I had it in me. There's a double meaning if you dig deep.
Oh man, I wonder what that double meaning could be. Also, she performed this while having a white boyfriend, by the way. For one of her own concerts, which was not restricted to 18 and over, she just straight up just did sexual gestures while on stage to the entire crowd. It's not even trying to be subtle. Come on. But wait, if everything I showed you was not enough to convince you to cancel her on Twitter.com, here's a clip of her being racist.
Star, just pretend the ball is a piece of fried chicken.
And to end this segment, I just like to show you what she looks like without makeup. Here you go. Yeah, I feel bad for kids nowadays, man. There's like nothing made for them other than Coco Melon. I'd rather have my kids watch Skibidi Toilet than listen to Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, I said it. From an overly sexual persona to whatever this is supposed to be. Up next, we're talking about Grammy-winning artist Chappell Roan. If I have not already kicked the hornet's nest with Sabrina Carpenter, then Chappell Roan is going to be the one to do it. In fact, I'm just now coming to the realization that this video is me stepping through a minefield. Chappell Roan, similarly to Sabrina Carpenter, has been at the music industry for quite a long time, but in 2024 is when she really blew up, increasing her weekly streams by 20-fold in just the first 6 months of 2024. This popularity would be noticed by Joe Biden himself, as the White House would invite her to celebrate at that year's Pride celebration. Chappell Roan would decline the invitation due to the Israeli-Palestine conflict and transgender rights. This massive success can largely be attributed to her song Good Luck Babe. The song has themes of compulsory heterosexual relationships, describing a queer woman trying to deny her feelings for Roan and for women in general. In case you couldn't tell by now, yes, Chappell Roan is a lesbian, and it is very obvious if you've listened to the single Good Luck Babe. There is no ambiguity to be seen here in this song. I think the lyrics from the bridge are very damning on the song. And when you wake up next to him in the middle of the night, with your head in your hands, you're nothing more than his wife. And when you think about me all of those years ago, you're standing face to face with I told you so. You know I hate to say it, I told you so. You know I hate to say it, but I told you so. The lyrics of You're nothing more than his wife sound particularly evil, like she's a little devil on your shoulder telling you to get divorced. But her music wasn't why I decided to cover her for this video. That reason would be the award-winning speech she gave at the Grammys, as well as the fallout that happened from that. When she was on stage with all the cameras pointing at her and the entire audience of the Crypto.com stadium, she decided to virtue signal about healthcare. Her thesis of the speech is that record labels should be providing healthcare to their artists. I'm sure this has nothing to do with the fact that she recently turned 26. I say a better solution would be having artists actually retain royalties and have the masters to their music, but no, that's not giving the record labels enough influence over you. She also demanded that the record labels pay their artists a livable wage, because of course she did. Unsurprisingly, this virtue signaling speech got her a lot of Reddit soyjack upvotes, presumably because healthcare is a human right, despite it literally requiring the labor of other people to service you. There were absolutely some noteworthy people that would criticize her that are adjacent to Hollywood, such as Bill Maher, but who Chappell Roan decided to call out publicly was a guest columnist for The Hollywood Reporter, Jeff Rabon. Where Jeff Rabon is currently a journalist writer, he used to be a record label executive, which he didn't exactly disclose in the article itself. And of course, this fact would be used against him when Chappell Roan decided to clap back. Chappell Roan responded publicly on her Instagram story saying, @Jeff Rabham, wanna match me $25K to donate to struggling dropped artists? My publicist is @Biz3 Publicity, let's talk. She continues saying, we'll keep everyone updated on the much awaited @Jeff Rabham response, and I will show receipts of the donations, heart. Chappell Roan absolutely opened up the floodgates for her fans to go after Jeff Rabham, which if I were to imagine what Chappell Roan's audience looks like, I'd imagine it's just Twitter. This is what happens when you put artists on a pedestal. Instead of just being a singer, instead of just being a songwriter, you become an activist. You become a spokesperson for your identity group. But most damning of all, you become an idol that people worship. Chappell Roan's theatrics doesn't just end at the award shows. She even went to Harvard to give a speech.
It was like really cool because I did not go to college. I didn't do super awesome in school. So to be like, to go do your first college speech at Harvard is crazy.
Is that shirt saying what I think it's saying? This generation is so lost, man. Okay, now it's time to get serious. Let's talk about the Luigi Mangione, because I'd most likely be repeating myself if I decided to talk about Bad Bunny. You want me to talk about Bad Bunny, huh? What is there to say about Luigi Mangione that hasn't already been said? Here, I'll start. I'm tired of seeing his face everywhere. If I could imagine, conjure if you will, a Redditor's wet dream, it would be what Luigi Mangione did to that CEO. And frankly, it's an issue that I know the name of the dude who did the crime, but not the victim of the crime. I lost just about all sympathy when I learned that the CEO wasn't even of the company that Luigi got his insurance from. He literally just crashed out because he had a back injury and couldn't have sex for a year. Well, I got a word for ya, Luigi. What do you think Stephen Hawking felt when he went on Epstein's island? Did Stephen Hawking kill anybody? No. What most people don't know about CEOs is that it is quite literally their legal obligation to maximize shareholder revenue. So let's just pretend a scenario where the CEO did the right thing and single-handedly stopped some AI from rejecting insurance claims. That would decrease the profit of the insurance company, which the profit margins of health insurance is quite thin, mind you. If the company were to really tank, then that CEO would quite literally face legal consequences and would obviously lose his job. The board of directors wouldn't like that. They would fire him. Revive my man Brian Thompson. He did nothing wrong. I am so sick and tired of these women simping for this mediocre man. He was quite literally given everything in life, but now that he's an adult and had one back injury, he crashes out. Many such cases. You ever notice the women that are like thirst trapping Luigi Mangione? They're either horribly ugly. They probably listen to Sabrina Carpenter, now that I think about it. Or they're like obnoxiously fat. It's like, no wonder your health insurance cost is so high. Look at yourself. If you've made it this far and still want to clown on me for my music taste, just know I listened to Lana Del Rey, Kanye West, the Persona 5 soundtrack, the Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack, and any song that was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Hope this helps. Thanks for 15,000 subscribers, by the way.